Gosh, we suck.
Podcast. Two guys talking without wearing pants. Pantsless. Podcast. You can take our ideas.
Welcome back to the Pantless Podcast. Here's your
Here we
host,
are.
Austin Travis. Take it away, guys. Hey.
It is taken away. So,
Yes.
everyone, I hope that since you're watching us, that means you're subscribed. If not, hit it, like us, comment, give us reviews, all that fun stuff. But we missed last week. You know that. And normally this is our 10th episode and we're live. But life happens, and so...
Yeah, life has gotten in the way the last 2 weeks.
Yes, so
Here we are.
We're here,
You're lucky
giving you
I'm
something.
awake.
That's right. Travis is functioning on just like straight drugs and adrenaline.
But yeah.
That's keeping him alive.
Mostly
And then
drugs.
he's going to be shut down here in a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're going to make this short, sweet, to the point. We'll probably take a week off. Maybe. Who knows?
No,
2
we already
weeks.
took our week off. We'll be back
Oh,
next week.
look at this. He is ready. He said he's a
see
trooper.
We'll see how we're feeling and how we're doing, but we'll be back on
Yeah.
track next week.
All right. Sounds good.
We
So
don't work for bosses. We do what we want around here.
we work for us. We are the bosses.
So how now that everybody knows I'm dying, how are you feeling?
It's the weekend, and I am thankful it's the weekend.
There you
The
go.
week, I don't want to talk about the week because I only like to talk about positive things.
Yeah, there
Let's
you go.
move on. Let's move on to something else.
Let's talk some NFL stuff. Let's just jump right into some NFL news.
Yeah,
We had
there's been
a
some
little thing
craziness,
called the draft this weekend.
right?
Weekend.
Speaking of draft, I'm about to take my first ever sip of. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, what is it?
Hard
Oh.
Mountain Dew.
I saw those at Walmart the other day. I'm drinking some good old hard water.
It does not taste like Mountain Dew, but it's not bad. Not bad. I was hoping more Mountain Dew, but it's good. No sugar plus alcohol.
I've been drinking hard water all day.
There you go. Don't lie to us. We know there's vodka in there.
No,
We know.
As I learned a couple weeks ago, don't drink alcohol and then take a NyQuil like medication like an hour later for bed, then wake up drunk the next morning trying to figure out why you don't feel well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was like not in the right headspace. This was 2 weeks ago. I got to work and I was not okay. Trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And then it was telling me, oh, I had a blue moon, then some NyQuil.
Yeah,
Don't do
that's
that.
that's what teenagers do for parties.
It messed me up.
They're like, we're gonna take 3 of our dad's beers, and then we'll just drink some of the NyQuil out of the medicine cabinet. We'll be crazy. Throw in some pizza rolls,
Yeah,
play some Halo. We're having a good night.
I slept well that night, but woke up rough. So you don't like the hard Mountain Dew?
No, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Just doesn't
It's,
taste like Mountain Dew.
It just doesn't taste like Mountain Dew. Yeah, but it's better than beer for sure.
You said it's no sugar?
Yeah, no sugar,
Boo!
0 sugar.
I want all the sugar.
Meh. Sugar makes your head hurt the next day.
That's true.
I like it.
But I hate your Cowboys even more after this draft.
Because they took a hurricane and now you're torn.
Did. They did. Second year in a row that a Tulsa Golden Hurricane was taken in the first round of the NFL draft.
It's pretty cool.
He
That's
didn't
pretty
go
cool.
as high as Zayvon Collins did last year, but he did go 24th overall, Tyler Smith, to Dallas.
Yep.
I'm excited for him.
They also got another player from an Oklahoma school. Their last pick of the draft was a kid from Oklahoma State, a linebacker. So, I think his name's Devin Hunter, I believe it was. But
I'm gonna
anyway,
pull up. I'm pulling up right now on ESPN everyone that we're gonna go over who Dallas picked up and who Washington picked up.
all right.
So
Oh, Washington's still in the league. I don't hear
Shut
anything
it.
about them.
shut it.
I'm sure.
We picked up a new name, but a very garbage logo. But we're not going to go over that.
Okay. Yeah.
They picked up Smith out of Tulsa in the first round. Who's a
Yeah.
tackle?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is cool. They call him a tackle, but they don't do any tackling.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah. Good point.
Then they picked up Sam Williams in the second round from Ole Miss, outside linebacker.
Yeah, and he's another. Isn't he the one that was he either hit a woman or inappropriately touched a woman or something and got in trouble? Is that him?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. Jerry likes to pick up problem children and try to fix them.
But I can never keep track of who all's hit who and who all's in jail. They picked up a wide receiver out of South Alabama in the third round.
South Alabama, okay, that's a school that I've heard of.
The South Alabama Cougars, I believe.
Okay, well, look at you knowing schools that nobody's ever heard of.
Or I can't remember what they are.
The South Alabama Racist.
Easy. They're not all. Some of them.
You're right.
Not all.
I think they did just recently change their name to something less offensive, like Sister Lovers, but...
Which one's worse? The Cousin Kissers.
The Cousin Kissers, that's fantastic. Oh my gosh. The cool Cousin Kissers, all spelled with K's.
The Uncle Touchers.
Oh gosh.
Then they picked up Jake Ferguson out of Wisconsin, which is your favorite position.
Tight end. I love it.
You love your tight ends.
I love my tight ends.
But you love the tight end out of South Alabama better.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not pronouncing that guy's name, but they picked up an offensive tackle out of North Dakota.
Okay.
They're going all over the place.
Yeah. North Dakota, they're usually a pretty good school. Aren't they the team that usually wins the D2 league
North Dakota State.
Most of it. Oh, it's North Dakota State. Okay.
And South Dakota. They're the four schools there. I don't know how they have enough. I don't know how each state has enough people to have a U and a state.
Right.
But
yeah.
And then there's Montana and Montana State that are also just dominant in football. But they're country. They're like.
That's what it is. Yeah.
They produce offensive linemen and linebackers that are just big dudes.
Yeah.
Because they work the land when they're not playing football.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Work on oil rigs.
Yeah, they're country
cattle. Chunk bales of hay.
Yeah.
Over Mount Rushmore. Yeah.
Then they go hit somebody on the weekend in football.
Amen.
Then they picked up Deron Bland. Hope he's not.
That's a boring name.
He got me somewhere with Deron with a capital R.
Ooh, the hard R.
Yeah. Ron Bland. Out of Fresno State, defensive back.
Okay.
Damian Clark out of LSU, inside linebacker. Your favorite kid out of your favorite state, Arkansas, defensive tackle. And then Devin Harper from Oklahoma State, inside linebacker.
Oh. Yeah. I'm actually, when it comes to the SEC, I hate all of the schools except Arkansas. I can actually root for Arkansas. I don't know if it's because, they're an old Big 8 school and, they're right. I could drive 2 hours. It's almost as close to go watch Arkansas play as it is to go watch OU play. And it actually might be closer to me.
I root for Arkansas as they are kind of the underdog in the SEC.
Yeah.
I can't root for A&M because I hate all Texas schools.
Right, yeah. Boo, Texas.
But Arkansas, they're our cousin kissers to the east,
Right.
They're like our little cousin over there,
Yeah, you don't mind going over there and giving them a little peck on the cheek at the family reunion.
Yeah.
We miss you.
They're nothing like our Uncle Touchers to the north. Kansas.
What? No. I've never heard anything bad about Kansas.
No.
They just Kansas is bland. I'm surprised Deron Bland didn't go to Kansas because Kansas is bland.
It is. So over to Washington's picks.
Yeah, let's go to Washington. What'd they get?
I was happy with their draft, and now I'm happier with their picks.
Okay. Who'd they get?
And I'm even happier now that I saw who they picked up late.
Okay.
So, they got Jahan Dotson, wide receiver out of Penn State, in the first round.
Okay.
Which I'm excited about that one. Then they picked up Findarius, PH.
Ooh.
Defensive tackle out of Alabama, which that means we now have about 7 ex-Alabama down linemen on the defense. We're like a direct pipeline. If they produce good players in Alabama on the defense, we pick them up. Oh, then we picked up a running back in the third round, Brian Robinson Jr., out of guess where? Alabama.
I don't even remember that name. Was he like a third string running back for them?
He only ran this past year. He was a bulldozer out of the backfield for them just this season.
Oh, okay.
They produce so much talent there that their running backs generally sit on the bench till their senior season. Then they run one season, unless they're like a phenom and they start early.
Right. Okay.
Then they picked up Percy Butler out of Louisiana, safety. Then I'm excited about this next pick, which has surprised me. They picked up Sam Howell, quarterback out of North Carolina.
Okay.
Like, we picked up a quarterback, late round quarterback. Oh,
maybe that's the strategy. Washington doesn't have much luck picking up quarterbacks early. Those guys flop. So maybe now that they got one way deep, he's going to be like a stud.
This guy can sit behind Carson Wentz and Heineke for a year or two and learn.
Yeah.
There's no reason he should start till at least year 3.
Excuse me, sir. You just said Carson Wentz and Heineke. I think you have pretty good reason for him to start. What are you talking about? Why tank the season? Why tank already? So you could get him a good left guard or something? Get him a tackle?
I'd rather him learn, stay healthy, learn the systems, and we lose for a year or 2.
Okay.
And then he pick up in year 3 and take us to a Super Bowl.
That's fair. I mean, you guys aren't really even close to Super Bowl ready like the Cowboys are. So
we're closer than the Jets.
That's out. I'll agree with that. I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll probably win the division this year because we're not supposed to. Then we picked up another of your favorite position. Cole Turner, Nevada, another tight end.
Okay.
Then we picked up an offensive guard. Does the name Chris Paul come to mind?
Yeah, he was a guard for. He's actually in the playoffs of the NBA right now. He's a guard for the Suns. Aren't they moving on to the next round? I haven't checked, but I'm pretty.
You're not thinking of Pierre Paul, are you? Or Paul?
No. Chris Paul. Well, the guard for the Suns.
Well,
Look it up.
This is an offensive guard that played for Tulsa.
Ooh, fun.
So 2 offensive linemen drafted out of Tulsa this year. One to your Cowgirls and one to my Commanders. The Cowgirls and the Commies over here. Oh, and guess...
Commies, stop it.
Hey, we picked up Christian Holmes, defensive back out of Oklahoma State, as our last pick.
Nice. Look at that. I also saw that the Browns can't get rid of Baker. That's crazy. Like, I don't understand. Baker what is? I don't get it. Why do people not like Baker? He
I don't
wins
think-
games.
Okay, I don't think it's. I think it's Cleveland. I think
Like, what do you mean?
Baker made that letter saying, thank you for what you've done. I'm done. Let's move on. Cleveland was like, no, we're not trading you. Then that whole
Okay.
he had high trade stock at that point, and then Cleveland kind of messed around and refused to trade him. Then
Yeah.
I think when they finally were like, hey, we're ready to trade him. Who wants him? And everybody else was like, we already got our we already got our quarterbacks figured out. We don't want him now.
Right.
Atlanta picked up Desmond Ridder out of Cincinnati in the 3rd round.
He's got potential.
Who else? Someone else picked up a quarterback in the late rounds. Carolina picked up Matt Corral out of Ole Miss in the 3rd round.
I don't think he's ever gonna put it on record so that it could be when he's like winning a Super Bowl in 3 years. I'm gonna go on record and say I don't think he's gonna do anything in the league.
he was another one of those not ready now people.
Right.
Did you know that only one quarterback was selected in the first 2 rounds?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Kenny Pickett went to Pittsburgh. Desmond Ridder went to Atlanta. Malik Willis went to Tennessee.
Where's Marcus Mariota now?
He's in Tennessee. No, Mariota. He is in Atlanta.
Mariota went to Atlanta?
I believe
and then
so.
Atlanta picked up Ridder in the 2nd round?
So Mariota's probably going to start with Ridder as his backup for Atlanta.
Okay. Right.
Which is actually a really good deal. They're not going to win any games. They're in the same boat as Washington. Really. So is Carolina. So that Liberty quarterback Malik Willis went to Tennessee. Matt Corral went to Carolina. Looks like New England picked up the Western Kentucky quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Pittsburgh picked up a quarterback out of South Dakota State in the 7th round.
Yeah.
So they got 2 quarterbacks this draft. So
there you go.
I feel like my commies had a very good draft.
Very good draft.
I as a die-hard commie fan.
Yeah.
Kamehameha fan.
Mahama in the summertime.
Am happy with the draft.
Good. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad you're happy. You need something to be happy about.
Clip this.
Seeing as how I just beat you in hockey, so.
Clip this, and later in the season, when I'm mad, we'll run this and me saying I was happy with this draft.
All right. And you know you're telling yourself to clip this because you are the editor, sir. You need to put a note in your...
Depression sinks in.
Post-it note right there. You got this.
What were you saying about hockey? What kind of false news you spreading?
I ended up as the lowest, the team with the lowest winning percentage out of everybody with a winning record. I was able to pull off another hockey championship.
I was so mad.
Your guys played so hard, but guess what? Did you notice what happened in the last game? How many people you had sitting out?
I saw that.
You got that trap. You fell into that trap of having all your players, and then they all go, "We're not making the playoffs. Let's rest tonight."
I put up so many points against Lexi in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I started feeling good about it, and it just Oh, it hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
But hey, I somehow finished second in the league with an 8-13 record.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Like imagine how it would look if I would have won.
Right? I mean, you had the chance. There was a shot. You guys played. I mean, in terms of the last, I think you scored the second most points in the playoffs in the final round,
Probably.
in the final 2 weeks.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was
So,
going to end on Friday. I didn't realize till Thursday morning. The league.
right? Yeah. Yeah. I was checking the stuff today, and it just said your league's over, and I'm like, okay.
We didn't get a full 2 weeks.
Because I guess I guess hockey's over, or
Playoffs start.
they're still playing. They're still playing today. I thought.
I don't know.
Or maybe just I saw a couple of people. Maybe it's just 1 or 2 games, and so they just called it since most games ended yesterday. Maybe they had like 1 makeup game today. I don't know.
But it's crazy, and I am losing currently in stickball.
Are you?
Oh yeah.
I wonder what's happening in stickball. I'm trying to beat the. I'm beating Frazier, but what's going on with the Jokers? I need the Jokers. I want a 4-game lead over the Jokers. That's what I really need.
I'm actually slowly making a comeback, but I don't think I'll be able to.
Ooh. The Jokers are in a close game. They are winning 300 to 294.
300? I barely crossed 200.
Those 2 teams right now, those are the 2 highest scoring teams, and they're playing each other.
I barely beat
all your pitchers are playing tomorrow, so
I beat Sean on last week.
yeah.
He had me up by a lot of points the entire week, and then the last day I had a pitcher throw for a lot of points. That's the whole thing, though.
Yeah, listen to this. Listen to this. They today it shows the scores. Like I said, Team Hell is losing by 6 right now to the Jokers. The Jokers today have scored 1 point, and Team Hell has scored 68 points.
Yeah.
So they basically,
yeah,
he had 1 pitcher who scored 26 points.
Yep. And then another pitcher was 16. So he's.
And then the Jokers have all of their guys scored like they've got a -1 and a 1, a 1, a -1, a 1, a 1, a -2, and then a 1. And so that's why they have 1 point, is because out of all the people that are starting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it looks like 10 people, all of their negatives and positives have balanced out to basically be 0, with the exception of 1 person having 1 point.
So it looks like Sean's actually staying up with his team this year.
Yeah, he made some crazy moves on Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. He picked up a lot of good players that I was really frustrated that I'm like, how I should have been looking at the free agency, because he picked up some really good people out of free agency.
He's got a lot of players on IL.
This frustrates me that I didn't see them. So it'll be interesting to see how tomorrow goes. I really need him to have some. I want to see if he's got anybody starting tomorrow. I really need him to win.
I may have made a mistake, Austin.
What'd you do?
I was giving the Autisms some pointers on how to do things inside the league.
That sounds shady. What does that mean?
I was showing her how to use her ILs and how to pick up new players. I was kind of...
Oh, yeah?
Giving her a bit of a how-to on how to do fantasy.
Yeah.
So, she's still hasn't picked up any new players, which is weird. But there's a lot more people in this league that are actually paying attention to it. You could tell by
Oh, yeah.
by moves. And there's
I haven't even checked that the league activity. Yeah, see what's been going on.
There's only 4 teams that haven't made any moves.
The Dads, Washington,
David
Bad,
will make the most moves.
Right? Jokers,
He
Cram.
has.
Oh yeah. He's always looking for something.
Leagues.
Yeah.
He is not loyal to any of his players.
Right. So yeah, it's gonna be a.
I think this is gonna be a really, really close league. So.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty tight. Like I said, my primary goal is to beat the Jokers. My secondary goal is to win the league. Those are my priorities. So I will coach up whoever is playing the Jokers. I'll be like, yo, hey, you got a pitcher on your bench. You might need to start them. They're starting tonight, and you don't have them in your starting lineup. You might want to put them in there. But yeah, and then we'll see how it goes. I might shoot myself in the foot by over-coaching, and then everybody will use my awesome strategy to beat me. But as long as they beat the Jokers, I don't care. That's all that matters. Are you frozen?
No.
Okay, good. Okay. You were doing this for a really long time? Like you were holding your cape over your face?
Yeah, I was trying to...
I thought you were frozen.
Hey, you got any breaking news?
Oh, yeah. I got some sad breaking news. The country icon and matriarch of the Judds, Naomi Judd, has passed away at 76 years old. So.
Cheese and peace.
Yep. Rip Naomi. Rip. I don't know if your sources need to confirm that.
No,
or
I'm
if
good.
Okay.
That's not one that we really wish to.
Yeah. We won't go into any details. I mean, 76. That's a pretty decent age.
Yeah, that's.
There you go.
I was trying to remember. I had something I was going to touch on. Oh, did you hear the other breaking news?
No, what?
Elon Musk now owns Twitter.
I did hear that, and I don't know if why, but apparently once that and he's not even in there yet. So the question is, why is this happening now? But people's Twitter accounts, they're getting more followers, their tweets are getting seen more, they're getting more likes, and the questions are, why is this happening when he hasn't even taken over yet? Are the people at Twitter trying to hide something that they were doing shady? Were they trying to hide visibility? Know. And they're trying to go, before he takes over, everything's above board. Yeah, or why? I don't know. It's weird. I haven't checked my personal Twitter to see if I've gotten more followers, but I've heard people's tweets are getting more likes. People are getting more followers. It seems like people are getting more visible when they weren't visible before.
My sources are showing that our channel Twitter follows at the Pantless Pod 1.
Mm-hmm.
Still exactly the same as it has been.
Oh man. Okay, that's fine.
We need to get. We don't actually use it very often.
We need to get in there and we need to start saying some controversial things. That's what we need to do.
Yes.
We need to start so we should make a pact that we go really, really hard against Philadelphia and New York.
State?
The Giants. No, the Eagles and the Giants.
Oh, football games. I'm like,
yes.
We're just going to smash the whole state.
The whole state. Philadelphia, the whole city of Philadelphia, you guys suck.
Philadelphia city, not a state.
The whole state in New York, you suck. Let's just start going really hard against anti-Philly, anti-New York.
Hold on, sir. The Giants aren't in New York. They're in New Jersey.
That's fair. You are correct. They are in New Jersey. Technically, their stadium, but the team they're called the New York Giants.
Hey, don't be surprised if soon they're not forced to change their name to the
They should.
to the New Jersey.
They should. The NJGs, I love it.
Yeah, or have a new stadium built in actual New York.
Meh, nobody wants to go there.
Hey, I've heard a lot of people threaten over this whole Elon Musk deal that they're going to leave Twitter, and my answer to that is, bye.
I didn't know who you were. Pull that Thanos. I don't even know who you are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Then you're not wanted here.
Right? I love it. But they won't leave.
No.
No, nobody's going to leave. It'll all be honky-dory.
Speaking of never leaving, we watched a movie this week.
We did a classic, a super classic.
I love this movie. We watched Shawshank Redemption.
Yep, it was a good one.
It actually left Netflix today.
By the time you're hearing this or seeing this, it's already off Netflix.
It's already off Netflix. I'm glad we got a chance to watch it before it left, because, oh my gosh, I don't think I'd ever seen this movie all the way through.
Right? Yeah, I haven't seen it in so long that
Or if I had,
a lot of it was just like, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I can't say anything really surprised me. I guess I kind of remembered most of it anyway, but it was still good. It was really good. I loved the ability to rewatch it and be like, this is so good. So good.
Would you consider Tim Robbins an underrated actor?
Is he in anything other than this movie? I don't recognize him from anything else.
He's been in other stuff.
He is a good actor for sure. For sure. In this movie, he was great.
I'm gonna look it up, but he's been in other stuff.
Okay.
But I can't think of anything else he's been in right off the top of my head. He was in Bull Durham.
Don't know what that is.
He was in Zathura.
Don't know what that is either.
That was the spiritual successor to Jumanji.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
They made Jumanji, and then they made Zathura, which was an outer space version of Jumanji. Really good movie.
How weird. Okay.
Showed he was in Top Gun. I do remember him in Top Gun.
About that. I mean, I trust you, but I just don't remember him in Top Gun.
Mission to Mars.
Never seen it.
Austin Powers. I think that's
Who was he in Austin Powers? What character did he play in Austin Powers?
He was. I don't think he was a very big role. Oh, he was the president. When when Dr. Evil calls up the president to ask for $1 billion. He's the president that's laughing at him.
Right. It was what he asked for. He asked for $1 million originally.
$1 million?
$1 million. And then Seth Green's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
That's actually, gosh, can we watch that? Is there any ability? Is that on any streaming platform? Because that is hilarious.
Used to be.
I haven't seen Austin Powers probably since I was a teenager.
Well,
the first.
Let's keep.
Yeah, let's keep going. We're talking about Shawshank.
Yeah.
Tim Robbins, fantastic. Yeah.
Metacritic.
All right.
So
Metacritic on a scale of 0 to 100. I know Metacritic loved this movie. I'm sure this is one of their top-rated movies. I think they gave it a 92.
I'm surprised by their score.
Why is people calling us a fantasy hockey?
I'm
Should
not
we-
really sure. That was Brandon trying to call us on a video call.
That was a very weird.
If he does it again, I'm answering.
Heck yeah, I'll answer it too.
And
We'll
get
double
it on
answer
the
this
recording.
thing.
21 critics, and it's a Metacritic must-see stamp right beside
Yeah.
the score.
Oh
They
yeah.
Still only gave it an 81.
What? No. Wrong. This is a travesty. Boycott Metacritic. Hashtag travesty.
Users gave it a good year. The users, 1996 users, 1,996
Okay.
users. Out of 10.
Since Metacritic failed, I'm going to say the users succeeded and gave it a 9.2.
You were way closer on this one. They gave it a 9.0.
Oh, man. Man.
I didn't see anything wrong with this movie.
Yeah, it was good.
So good. Holds up today, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, yeah. There's nothing even out. Anybody can watch this, and you won't get those people going, "Oh, this movie's outdated." You know, I don't know why I did an old person voice. They would have loved it. I should have done the, "Whoa, man, I guess it's okay. It seems a little old for me." Right.
Because even when it came out in 94, it was set in the 40s.
Yeah.
So even, it wasn't even like, oh, this is a crappy 90s movie. No, it was set in the 40s. So,
Yeah.
I don't even think, even when they got through the ages, even when they got, spoiler alert, when they got out of jail, I don't even think it was even caught up to the 90s at that point. I think they were in like the 70s.
Yeah.
Or the
Yeah.
60s. When Brooks got out, everybody was driving 1950s cars.
Yeah, it might have been the 60s. Might have been.
Yeah.
I didn't even check the timeline whenever they were. That was I just loved that how he had his line that every time he went into probation hearing,
Yeah.
they'd be like, "Do you feel you've been rehabilitated?" "Oh, absolutely. I feel like I've been rehabilitated. I'm a totally different person."
Till that last one.
Until the last one where he's like, "I don't even care anymore. Whatever. You just do. I hate what happened. I wish that had never happened. That person sucks, but I know you're just gonna stamp it." And they're like, He's rehabilitated finally. He's given up hope.
We have
Which is-
a team.
Yeah, exactly. How sad. Probably how it is. I don't know. I hated the system. Those cops. All those cops were freaking corrupt. Just made me sick to my stomach.
So 19 positive, 2 mixed, 0 negative for the critics.
Nice.
We got 1,858 positive, 31 mixed, 107 negative for the users.
107 negative. I would love to hear a negative, like what somebody said.
We'll look into it.
Yeah.
Chicago Tribune gave it 100. This is
Damn.
simply marvelous entertainment that breathes life into a genre that I thought had been dead for a decade. The prison picture.
All right.
Washington Post gave it a 40.
Wow.
Speaking of jail, Shawshank, the movie seems to last about half a life sentence. The story chiefly about the 20-year friendship between Freeman and Robbins becomes incarcerated in its own labyrinthine sentimentality.
Okay. That's.
What'd you think of the sisters?
I don't know. I just don't know. Do you think that was really going around back in the 30s and 40s?
Yeah.
Like they were really acting like that?
But I think that they were more. I think they portrayed that properly. I think it's more accepted. It happens more in prison nowadays.
Like that just seems like it'd be a modern. Like I'm sure, like the bad stuff that happens, I'm sure that happened, but them being like
But you can tell
taking
they were
on those
outcasts.
quality.
You could tell
Right.
that group, they were called the sisters. They were the only group in that penitentiary that did that kind of thing. Everybody else was just
Right.
kind of, no,
Right.
yeah, I don't touch other men kind of thing. And the
I guess that's
sisters,
true.
And everybody knew that, those 3 or 4 men,
Right.
if you got caught alone, they would do things to you.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Nobody talked about it. It really wasn't accepted, but it wasn't really outcast. It kind of was.
I mean, yeah, they were outcasts, but it was prison. There's not much you can do.
Yeah, it's not that you can't see them.
Right.
And the guards probably just like, don't let us see you doing this.
Right. And
So-
probably, the guards are just so scumbag anyway. They're like, well, if it happens, it happens, and we don't even care.
Yeah,
So
the one guy died, was paralyzed. The head of the sisters.
yeah.
When he kind of got caught doing what he was doing.
Yeah, but that was probably only because what's his face was, at that point was pretty well established,
Yep.
like a helper with all of them. He was helping them with their taxes, with any kind of banking issues that they needed. Like they needed him to be healthy, and so anybody that went against him, they're like, okay, well, he's my cash cow, so I'm going to break your legs.
Yep. Ooh. All right.
Which is crazy.
So user Quinn C. Freeman is red freedom character searching for nothing but to pace his life in prison. This guy gave it a 0, by the way.
Oh wow.
Robbins.
0.
Robbins is a Robin Hood who does more strength than the hero. He becomes a prisoner, also a librarian, teacher, friend, smart banker, who reads books. This guy's trying to tell the whole story. God, I don't understand. It said, I do not enjoy a film that drags on, bores, and tells a mess. Well, your review is doing that. What bad writing?
Love it. I was Zingham.
It said, drags on, bores, and tells a message with bad wording, bad script, and badly done. Done is, that might be spelled right. Lesson. That prisoners get the rights to do many things than sit in a rotting cell and eat disgusting food all day. Prisoners actually treated very well in the early days. And certain prisons do treat prisoners fairly well.
Yeah, there's definitely better prisons than others.
I mean, I felt like this portrayed what prison was like in the 40s. I mean,
All right.
what do we got for Common Sense Media?
So Common Sense Media, we've got Heather Borner. She says it is a gritty prison tale. It has positive messages and lots of profanity. Foreshadowing. She gave it a 4 out of 5 for 15 and older. Parents gave it a 5 out of 5 for 14 and older, and kids gave it a 5 out of 5 for 13 and older. So it's really interesting, like how Metacritic gave it an 81. She kind of gives it a 4 out of 5, which is, basically seems like it's an 80.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting that how the critics just didn't see it as well. Even though it's such a fantastic movie, I thought this was something that was going to be. Even though Metacritic gave it their stamp, they still gave it a kind of a low score. But moving on. So the parent's guide to what's in this movie, it stands out for positive messages. So in terms of, I guess that's going to flow into positive messages. So it got a badge for stands out in positive messages.
I can see that.
Words. All right, so positive messages. What do you think? What do you think Heather gave it?
I'd say a 4.
She did give it a 4. Yeah. She said, hope, endurance, and unconditional friendship are core themes of the film. Corruption, manipulation, and betrayal are also present, but they're shown to fail in the end. The problem of institutionalization is shown and discussed. A prison inmate has spent so much time in prison, he has forgotten how to live outside the prison walls. Integrity and perseverance are major themes. Which you have to imagine, that would have been crazy for that super old guy who he went into prison with. Yeah, he went into prison in like the early aughts. I think it was like 1904 or 1907 or something like that.
There, yeah.
Like cars weren't even really a thing. Like he mentions later, And then when he got out, they were everywhere, and it was a total culture shock. Like
that'd be the hardest thing, because like even with all the other ones who went in like the 30s and 40s, the world hadn't changed that much. But for Brooks, the world literally moved on without him, and cars became a thing. Because there was a fairly, it went from nothing to cars.
Right, yeah. I mean, he went from
horse and buggy.
The most technology they had were like radios, I think. And he went from, horse and buggy, maybe saw a crazy motor car that, some crazy rich person drove that was crazy.
Do you think
and then he gets out, and there's cars, there's probably TVs at that point, I believe, when he got out.
Do you think there's actual light bulbs being used in the prison? When he went in and night, because how much were electricity?
That's a good point.
Was not really massively common.
Right. I bet the prisons probably had it.
Okay.
It would be an interesting history to see if how they treated it. But yeah, he was in there during, and it sad spoiler alert, if you can call that a spoiler alert for something from 1994. But he couldn't hack it. Killed himself.
He did.
Because it was just
that was a sad part of the movie.
Yeah, it really was.
I teared up in that, because that was hard to watch.
Yeah, I mean, he got to the point, they're talking about institutionalization, but he got to the point where he was just thinking about committing some kind of heinous crime that would get him sent back.
Yep.
Because he just was like, I will commit a crime to go back to prison, because freedom in the real world is...
He was willing to kill the other guy in the library.
Yeah, that's true. Before they let him out, because he knew it was coming. He didn't want to go. And that's sad. It's heartbreaking. And that stuff still goes on today. Even though the world doesn't change as fast as what he experienced, probably. But still, people get used to the prison life. And after they've been in there for 45, 50 years, leaving prison is... It's rough. It's rough on a person.
Yeah,
Rehabilitation is... Well,
and like what they showed with Morgan Freeman's Red, when he was bagging groceries and literally, hey, can I go to the bathroom? He's like, hey, you don't have to ask to go to the bathroom. He's like, I almost can't pee unless I'm told to go pee.
Right, yeah.
I can't do this unless someone is over my shoulder telling me that I have permission to do it.
Yeah.
Because for 40 years, that's how I've lived my life.
Yep.
He's having struggles just doing basic functions.
Yeah.
Prison system's rough, man.
Yeah. Sucks. Be good, people. Be good. Don't go to prison. It's not worth it. Don't do it. Positive role models. What do you think she gave positive role? She says 3.
What?
She said, Andy never gives up hope. Red is loyal and practical. All the characters are flawed, but it's clear who the good and bad guys are. Even though their positions might not suggest that from the start, inmates work together, often illegally, to make life more bearable. The warden is corrupt and takes bribes, but it's shown in a negative light. That's what I hate. It's almost like they take even the antagonist and calculate into their scores for positive role model. It's like, shouldn't we be looking at the good guys as the positive role models, and then let the bad guys be the bad guys? Don't go, well, here's how bad the bad guys were, so that's going to bring down our score. That's just what we should be looking at. The good guys. How good are the good guys? Andy kind of just put up with it. He was completely innocent, and he put up with it.
He was.
He didn't go absolutely nuts and try to, he just was basically like, well, I'm just going to do my thing and bide my time. And, he was just doing what he needed to do to survive. And he was a good guy. He never did anything crazy bad. So, I don't know. I definitely would have given it at least a 4. but violence. What do you think?
Give that a 3.
She gave it a 4.
Okay.
She said, a man commits suicide by hanging. A man is shot and killed by another man with a rifle. There's prison rape, while not graphically shown, is very strongly implied, with references to oral and anal sex, and the takeaway that one of the lead characters was raped repeatedly by other prisoners. With that description, that's borderline 5, but I guess I can see a 4 there. All right. So, sex. What do we think?
Well, I'd have gave it a not present until she started mentioning stuff with violence.
Right.
I'd give it a not present.
Okay.
But never mind. Let me change my. I'd give it a 2 because there was a scene early in the movie with the ex-wife and the lover. They had some suggestive stuff. So let's give it a 2.
Yeah, 2. She gave it a 2. She said sex was portrayed obliquely at the beginning. Said.
I forgot about that.
And then she said lots of cheesecake photos of sex symbols from the 50s and 60s decorate the prison walls. You know, Marilyn Monroe. Like, look at this lady, and then he gets a Marilyn Monroe poster. It's like, oh, famous. So, I love it. Cheesecake photos. So, how about language?
I bet she gave it a 5.
Despite the fact that she did say frequent profanity, she only gave it a 3. She said frequent profanity, including the F word, jokes about rape, maggot, deoc, mother effer, the Q word, which I don't know if I'm allowed to say that or not anymore.
Probably.
Not that I ever said it before.
I mean, you can say what you want, but
I don't want to get rid of our clean rating. So let's just say that the Q in LGBTQ, that word is used pejoratively. A-hole, son of a bee, horse. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of words. A lot. And then a euphemism for defecation. So there's a lot, but she only gave it a 3, which is really interesting. All of those words that she mentioned, if like you're just reading it, you're like, well, how is that not a 4 or 5? Because that's a lot of words. That's a big list. How about consumerism?
I don't even know what to give this one.
Did we see a brand of beer when they got their beer?
It was a local brand.
Oh, okay. Well, she says not present, so
Okay.
you don't have to think. There was apparently nothing. It's not even clickable. That would have been the only thing I was thinking about, was whether that beer had something. Which that was a great scene too. Like he kind of got some cred, and then like after he escaped, like that legend, like you could hear them talking about it, and like grew into something bigger. It was fantastic. I love it. But all right, drinking, drugs, and smoking.
5.
I saw your list move, but I didn't hear anything come out.
5. Can you not hear me?
It looks like you're saying 5, but I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
There, I can hear you.
Okay, my mic must have shifted. Yeah, I give this one a 5.
Okay. She gave it a 2.
How?
She said a man is shown sitting in his car drinking whiskey from a flask before stumbling out to presumably murder his wife and her lover.
That's the main character.
There's cigarette smoking. The inmates drink beer after Andy wins a bet with the captain of the prison guard. So all that, 2.
Smoking the entire movie.
Oh, yeah.
Using smokes as currency.
Yeah.
More smoking, more smoking, more smoking. And then there was some light drinking. How is that only I don't get it.
Weird. Who knows? Heather's interesting. She says parents need to know that Shawshank Redemption is an Oscar-nominated 1994 movie based on a Stephen King story about a man sent to a maximum security prison in Maine in the 50s who shows the other inmates perseverance and provides a sense of hope and optimism in the bleakest of places and under the most difficult of circumstances. which is really interesting. Stephen King, like there was nothing supernatural about this movie. It was pretty interesting.
No, this was a Stephen King, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I forgot this was even Stephen King.
Let's see. The greedy world of Shawshank Prison is populated with sadistic guards, a corrupt warden, and predatory fellow inmates. And then she goes in to talk about all the bad stuff that we already read about. Talks about the guard beating and killing an inmate. There's also a prisoner shot and killed by a guard with a rifle. There's also a scene with a character who crawls through 500 yards of sewer pipe filled with excrement. Lots of profanity. However, the film also shows inmates forming a loving community of friendship and support despite oppressive conditions and a sense of manipulating perseverance and hope in the darkest hours. So, just a couple quick reviews over here. One parent gives it a 5 out of 5 for children 4 and older. And this was just 7 months ago. They said, I suggest this movie for those who have hope. Watch this movie at least once. My friend suggests me this movie. I just want to thank her. So I don't know if that was the 4-year-old writing that, or it says it's the parent of a 4-year-old. But interesting. And then another parent says this movie has too much violence, too much sex, and too much swearing. They gave it a 2 out of 5 for 18 and older. Said does not display true redemption. All the characters are corrupted.
Somebody's not watching.
The profanity, violence, and obscene sexual insinuations are not worth this so-called redeeming ending. I would not recommend this movie for kids or anyone who has difficulty watching continual violence. And then just kept going.
I agree with the don't let your kids watch this movie because it is kind of rough, but I don't know about the continuous violence and sex.
Yeah.
Because there's no that's shown. There's a lot of implied, and I don't think kids would pick up on.
Yeah. They also didn't like the dismissal portrayal or Christian people. I don't know. They didn't like that either. They found it disappointing overall. So that was a 2.
There was like a Christian undertone, but with corruption even under that. Because the warden was like all about the Bible and all about the scripture, but was not a good man.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's true.
So it did kind of, if you were kind of a up and coming Christian, you would probably be like, I don't understand what's going on here. Put a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah. Kids, a 16-year-old gave it a 5 out of 5 for 12 and older. A 15-year-old gave it a 5 out of 5 for 12 and older. They said great messages, great role models. They also provided some lengthy description of the movies, which talks about, the more violent stuff, the more creepy stuff, and then a lot of the language. But despite all of that, the teenagers were like, despite everything bad, all the violence, all the language, giving it 4 out of 5 on language, all that stuff, they still both gave it 5 out of 5 for 12 and older.
Okay.
So Shawshank Redemption was a great movie. Yes, watch it. It's good.
I'll keep an eye on it. If I ever see it come back to Netflix, which it might take a couple months, it may go to something else. We'll let you guys know. I'm disappointed. There's a movie I was going to do that kind of fell in line with this movie, but it leaves tonight as well.
Oh, no. What was it?
Mile.
Oh, that leaves tonight, too? Wasn't that Stephen King also? Or am I thinking of... Is that not?
I don't think so. But I have some other options.
Yeah,
so get off here. So
I know. Yeah, let's get off here. What are you thinking? What are we gonna watch?
Movies that I'm gonna throw at you.
Okay.
These are all on Netflix. We can do Schwarzenegger's Last Action Hero.
Okay.
Blade.
Okay.
Full Metal Jacket.
Ooh. Okay.
Or Starship Troopers.
All right. So, out of those,
which one of those have you not seen?
I've never seen Last Action Hero.
Okay.
What was the second movie you said?
Blade.
No, I've seen that. What was the third movie you seen?
Full Metal Jacket.
Okay, so I've not seen Last Action Hero. I've seen all the other ones.
Okay.
So do we want to go with Last Action since I haven't seen it? I'm down. The other ones, I'm down to watch those.
Which one sounds like one that you'd like to watch this week?
Man,
I've been watching a lot of Marvel stuff lately,
right.
and
So it makes you want to watch Blade.
hey, you picked up on that. A lot of people don't realize he's a Marvel character.
Yeah.
Let's watch that
Yeah.
one because that's
You want to watch?
that's too funny.
Okay. Is that on the
It's
Netflix?
on Netflix. Yes.
Okay.
Are you caught
Let's
up
do
with Are you caught up with Moon Knight?
I am caught up with Moon Knight. Do you want to talk about it briefly or no?
Holy crap! Was
I know we wanted to talk about the ending of not this Wednesdays, but the last Wednesdays, because we were like, "What's up with the hippo?" Like, I had my theories,
Wow.
and they were all of my theories were wrong when I
Wow.
watched this past one. But now, more questions. What happens to Steven? Is he gone forever?
No. Me and a guy at work, who he will not be named because we've never named this individual. Me
Okay.
and a person at work were talking. So this episode revealed that Steven was not the real one. That Mark is the actual owner of the
Yeah.
body.
Yeah.
That was in question. That was my question from the beginning.
Yeah, who was the original? Who's the real
Who's
one?
the original?
Yep.
Mark Spector
Yep.
is the original.
Yep.
He created Steven to basically mentally survive the abuse of his mother.
Yep.
As Steven's not real, and that's what was causing the imbalance in Mark's soul, he could just recreate Steven. Like that.
Okay, so now the question is, does he have to... I'll be interested to see, does he have to recreate him, or does he gain, like, are the barriers gone? Like, he now knows because Steven was super smart, super
I
intelligent.
think he made
He was the brains. So will he bring in all of the brains, or is Steven still going to be a character? Like, are they going to... He's just going
I don't
to...
know. This show's going in so many different. He's dead. He's in the afterlife.
Yeah.
Dead. Like he passed on and moved on to the afterlife.
Yep.
If Kanju even comes back, if he's released from his statue, can Kanju even bring him back from where he is?
Right.
I'm interested. Me and the wife are only about 2 episodes from finishing WandaVision.
Oh, are you? Okay.
We're trying to finish WandaVision because Scarlet Witch, she is in the next... I saw her in the preview of the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Mm-hmm.
It shows Wanda playing a big role in this next Doctor Strange movie. So I wanted to watch the WandaVision series to find out exactly how she gets out of the situation she's in that series that leads up to Doctor Strange.
Gotcha.
So I think we're going to leave it out there. I'm
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, brother, you got to get some rest. Well, I and everybody around the world appreciate you coming in and getting this done for us.
No.
Everybody's going to like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to give us thumbs up and positive reviews and well wishes.
So
So,
until next time, Austin.
yeah, till next time. Doom, 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 doom. Bah, 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 bah.